afternoon. We'll call to order the Ordinance Committee meeting of April 20th, 2021. And Mr. Presente, if you could do a roll call, please.
Of course. Councilmember Sneddon. Here. Mayor Pro Tem Oscar Gutierrez.
Present.
Chair Jordan.
Present also. And we'll move on to public comment for items that are not on the agenda today. And I'll let you take that away, Ms. Presente.
If you are here to speak on an item that's not on the agenda, now is your time to raise your hand in the GoToWebinar app. I don't see many attendees today. Chair Jordan, I don't believe anybody would like to speak on items not on the agenda.
Okay, we'll close public comment. And if you put my little cheat sheet back up for me, we'll move on to today's item to discuss the ordinance to amend the municipal code related to sewer lateral inspections. And staff can take it away, please.
Good
Hey, Ms.
afternoon.
Taylor.
Good afternoon, Chair Jordan and committee members. I am Kathy Taylor, the city's water supply services manager, and I'm here today with Galen Fair, who's our water quality superintendent. And we are here to present an ordinance to amend the municipal code for Title 14 for the sewer lateral inspection program. And I'm going to turn over the presentation to Ms. Fair.
Thank you, Ms. Taylor. Chair Jordan and committee members, as Ms. Taylor mentioned, I am Galen Fair. I'm the water quality superintendent overseeing the sewer lateral inspection program. So today we're going to talk to you about about the ordinance to amend the municipal code, Title 14. Next slide, please. So we'll talk a little bit about the SLIP background, what the sewer lateral program is, and then give you the ordinance updates. Next slide. So what is a sewer lateral? A sewer lateral, or the buried sewer pipe, is the pipe that connects a house or a building to the publicly owned sanitary sewer main. It is privately owned infrastructure, and we have estimates of approximately 300 miles of sewer lateral that's in the city limits. There's just under 25,000 connections to the city. So these are just estimates, so we're not too sure how much is actually out there. It's a significant workload. So it's the program, we're really doing our best to listen to the property owners and what they're experiencing as they're having to go through this program. One thing we remind the property owners is that they are responsible for maintaining their private sewer lateral connection and the Y, sewer lateral and Y connection. Next slide, please. A little bit about the SLIP history. It was developed in 2006 and the program was implemented in 2007. And it was to address the failing laterals and increase public awareness of the need to maintain private laterals. An ordinance was passed back in 2006, requiring staff to develop a program that requires property owners to inspect their private sewer laterals under certain conditions. And we'll go over what those conditions are shortly. And the sewer lateral inspection program continues to develop and change based on our community needs. As I mentioned, we're really trying to listen to the community, understand what their troubles are with the program and anything that they need from the city that we can help with this private infrastructure. Next slide, please. So sewer lateral inspections are triggered by the following. If someone applies for a permit when they are adding 400 square feet or more, or they're adding 2 or more new plumbing fixtures, we require them to have an inspection of their sewer lateral. Additionally, if there is a private sewer lateral spill and city staff responds, we will ask the property owner to inspect their lateral under those conditions. Obviously, something has gone wrong that caused the spill, so we want to be able to understand that. If there is a defect observed at the connection during city main inspections, so city staff inspects our own sewer mains on a routine basis. And if we see a defect at the Y connection or the lateral connection, we will ask homeowners to inspect the rest of their lateral. And then finally, the commercial program that we have with SLIP is commercial, industrial, or common interest developments. They're currently on a 10-year inspection cycle, so they are required to inspect the lateral every 10 years. But this is one of the things we are hoping to amend. Next slide, please. So next we will talk about the ordinance updates. And just as a reminder, Title 14 governs actions and activities related to sewers and sewer lateral maintenance. So the updates that we're proposing reflect the recent changes to SLIP, one of those being commercial inspection schedule. We are hoping to change the inspection frequency from 10 to 15 years. We have realized that a 10-year inspection cycle is just a lot to get through for staff. So we are hoping to change that to a more realistic 15-year cycle. We are also doing language clarifications, adding additional definitions for private sewer laterals, and clarifying responsibility of sewer lateral maintenance and repairs. Next slide. One thing to note, the definition of available public sewer that you received in your packet, we've gone back and forth with staff, want to make sure everything is consistent with our existing municipal code. So the available public sewer definition is what you see here, as opposed to what was in your packet. So we want to be in line with the California Plumbing Code and Title 22. So that changes to maintain internal consistency with the municipal code. Next slide. And next steps, we will introduce the ordinance to City Council next week and have the adoption in May, on May 4th. So with that, I will take any questions.
Thanks, Ms. Fair. So questions from the committee members? Ms. Snit?
No questions, but I just wanted to add that this was heard at Water Commission with unanimous approval and appreciation for all that Ms. Fair and team have done to really, as you know, Chair Jordan, to educate the public and update all of these documents. So just wanted to add that Water Commission was also supportive.
Thanks. Any other questions from any other members? Well, I have a couple then for one of you. And I know I don't even have this name even remotely correct, but do we still have that contractor program for like a starting rate of $5,000 for a normal street-wide connection process available for the public? You can rephrase that to me to tell me exactly what it was, because I don't remember what it's called.
Chair Jordan, committee members, yes, we are calling it our option 2, and it is a competitively bid contract with a local contractor. Currently it is Tierra Construction, and they are for the low price of $5,000, a property owner can get their sewer lateral connection replaced, which includes the excavation, the project management, etc., completed. And what we found is, actually found this out today, one of the local plumbers is actually advertising this for us. I think the plumbing community is very busy. And so they're saying, hey, since I can't get to it, the city has this program that you can get your lateral connection repaired for $5,000. That will likely go up with next fiscal year with the rate increases, I believe to $5,200. Don't quote me on that.
And my recollection is, just for, you can help me again on some of the selling points, is it definitely takes what you see in social media when you have neighbors on the street say, hey, everything looks the same as the guy next door, and they paid $6,000 and I paid $15,000. And it's kind of an economy of scale that we've gone out and done the work. And we also then avoid this tension of two different contractors doing the work. If you're having work done on your lateral, but you have to have a specific type of contractor in the street with a permit and all that. It's still a one-stop shop that you just put this in the hands of the program and walk away from it and it gets done, right?
Correct. One thing I do want to caveat, Chair Jordan, is that it is just for the Y connection, the lateral
Right.
connection work. So if there's additional work on the lateral that needs to be repaired, that can either be done at a later time, or they can see if their plumber can beat that competitively bid $5,000 price.
And we saw widely fluctuating prices for just the Y work. This is part of the driver of this,
Yes.
of this program, right?
Yes.
And then I see Mr. Hagemart lurking. I think this is probably a question for him in another life. He knows I talked frequently about also making sure to have a low, if we could find a way for low income customers to have access to some type of loan for whatever lateral and for sure the Y work that they were going to do. And I know this was bounced around with difficulty, but has anything ever happened so that, or is there still a path that's being worked on so that we capture the laterals, the Ys for sure, but the laterals also that remain unrepaired because people just can't afford to do them?
Yeah, Chair Jordan, we're still working on that. We did have the hope that we could tap CDBG money to create a program. We felt like we needed a couple $100,000 to get a program like that established. And then, as you know, the CDBG funds are in high demand right now, and we feel like we just need to take a step back and let the community, the other community projects that are a priority. But we continue to keep looking for that. We're also kind of excited with the focus now at the federal level on infrastructure investment, that there could be some money there. So, and I'll defer to my team and whether there's been even more conversation on that. But I know it's something we're looking for funding to try and put a program together like that, but I don't know that we have anything yet.
Okay,
Thank you,
good.
Mr. Hagemart.
That's all I have. So seeing no more questions, we can open it to public comment for members of the public who want to comment on this particular item. Ms. Crisante?
Chair Jordan, currently there's nobody who has, oh, we do. We have one person. It would be Krista Pfizer. Krista Pfizer, please go ahead.
Hello, thank you. My name is Krista Pleiser. I'm the Government Affairs Director for the Santa Barbara Association of Realtors. And I would like to first say thank you so much to the SLIP team. It has been great working with everyone over there and being able to explain specifically from homeowners on kind of the complications of this program, as well as ways to solve that and to be able to convert that from SLIP speak into normal people speak, everyday people speak. So thank you so much for that. One thing that we have been going back and forth on and wanted to bring it to this committee's attention is the why itself, and the standpoints of, and I know that Ms. Fair did speak about this briefly before, in the standpoints that the why is technically the city's, is the homeowner's responsibility. However, back in the 70s, 80s, I want to say, it originally was actually the city's responsibility, and then the city magnanimously gave it to the property owners. And most property owners don't really understand why it is that they need to be responsible for it when it's connected directly to the main. I know Ms. Fair and I have gone round and round on this in the standpoints of why and how and things of that nature, but we would like to request potentially looking into the city taking back the Ys, because this is a very expensive endeavor for people, and it is connected directly to the sewer. And so when the main lines are being cleaned and fixed, that could also be fixed at the same exact time. Thank you.
Thank you. Any others, Ms. Crisante?
Chair Jordan, no other individuals have raised their hand to speak.
Okay, so I'll close public comment and it would be back to the committee. Ms. Snedden.
Chair Jordan, I'm very happy to move the recommendation forward. Move staff recommendation.
I'll second that.
Thank you. either of you have comments on this? Go ahead, Ms. Sneddon.
I'll just reiterate that this has been a long project, and just really outside of the ordinance, the outreach materials, just as Ms. Pfizer said when she called in, the people not understanding who the Y belongs to and all the mechanisms, and it's just that watching the evolution of these documents for public outreach has been really incredible, and really with equity in mind, as Councilmember Jordan from when you were on Water Commission, really emphasizing that, and this is a really nice piece of work.
Thanks. Mr. Gutierrez.
Thank you, Chair. I too want to echo staff for their efforts on this, and also Ms. Pleiser for her points. This is something that, you know, my home had to deal with years ago, and it was very costly and complicated. So if there could be just a little more effort to do outreach to the community, especially the Spanish-speaking community, it would be greatly appreciated. And I look forward to having a discussion with the rest of the council about this matter.
And my comments would be obviously, I would echo everything you've heard so far. It's also a great example of how when you get to pictures, they tell a better story than a bunch of narrative. And in fact, Ms. Fair just walking in one day and dropping a Y on the table at Water Commission made you really understand what the deal was. And I have enough plain knowledge in this area to be dangerous too, but I know, like, for instance, my house was built in the mid-50s. I have no doubt that, you know, what they did then is they just busted open a hole in the main and just shoved the clay pipe in there. There is no Y connection, so to speak. It is not sealed. It is common for that to be very prevalent in the city, and this is a necessary step to take just to one, not lose any of that material out into the soil, and to also prevent stuff from growing into it and clogging not only your sewer lateral, but the city's main too. So encouragement I would have would be certainly what I just heard Mr. Hagemart say, that as if we get any infrastructure funding that is applicable in all this water work stuff you're hearing at the federal level, that we do try and carve out some starting funding for a low-income program to help with the expense of this, particularly in high-emphasis areas running along watersheds. You know, so the neighborhoods that run along Mission Creek, as an example, they're older houses, so we could presume there's probably a problem there that hasn't been solved, and we know there's a direct nexus to getting into a watershed or a area where that waste is actually being carried down to the ocean. So I think it would be great to see at some point in the future. So, seeing no more discussion. Great presentation. Nice short presentation. This will be like the shortest adoption ever, I think. You'll get to be the bar to beat. So Ms. Crescente, if you would call, and I think for the motion, I would just make the assumption that we're agreeing with that change to the definition of available public sewer, even though nobody said that. So I see you guys nodding, and I'll nod too. So yes. Ms. Crescente, if you would take a roll call for the motion, please.
Of course. Okay, moved by Councilmember Sneddon, seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Oscar Gutierrez to move staff recommendation to City Council for introduction of the ordinance. Mayor Pro Tem Oscar Gutierrez.
Aye.
Councilmember Sneddon.
Yes.
Chair Jordan.
Yes. So thank you to my committee members. Thank you to staff, Ms. Taylor, Ms. Fair, and the rest of the team. I know I was looking at this a year and a half ago. So happy to see this get one step closer to the finish line, and we'll see it next week at full council. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You bet. So that's the end of our business today. So we will adjourn, and full council will be meeting at 2 o'clock. Thanks.